Welcome into Boston Celtics Today here on Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Senior. Hit me up and give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. We're talking Marcus Smart and Payton Pritchard today because the point guard has been a topic of conversation for this franchise all throughout the offseason since Brad Stevens traded away Kemba Walker. Earlier this week, we did cover here on the channel within an hour of that news breaking that Smart and the Celtics agreed to a 4-year, $77.1 million contract extension that's going to keep him under team control through 2025-2026. And according to Shams Charania, he provided an answer for the question that a lot of us have had throughout this offseason. Who's going to be the starting point guard for this team alongside Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown? And according to Shams, it is going to be Marcus Smart. That is the plan for the Celtics right now for Brad Stevens and Ime Udoka. And for a backup option, with the emergence and stellar play of Payton Pritchard in the NBA Summer League, it looks as though the Celtics have a solid option at the starting point guard spot, but also backups, not also adding in that the Celtics last week signed Dennis Schroder in free agency. So you look at the Celtics starting five. Right now, I'm able to pinpoint 4 players who are going to be in the starting five for the first-year head coach in Ime Udoka. If Shams' reporting is true, you have Marcus Smart starting at the 1. I'm not sure who's going to play the 2 guard. Is it going to be Romeo Langford? Is it going to be Aaron Nesmith? Boston would love to see those 2 young players step up. Could a player like Dennis Schroder, who's played off-ball throughout his career, start at the 2? Could Payton Pritchard start at the 2? Or are you more comfortable bringing Payton Pritchard as well as Dennis Schroder in off the bench? You know that Jason Tatum is going to play the wing. So too is Jalen Brown. Both of those guys in small ball lineups can also play the 4. And I think it's logical for Al Horford, given his defensive presence and ability to stretch the floor as a big man, which the Celtics were bereft of last year, to be in there as the starting 5 guy. Marcus Smart's numbers last year, career highs in points per game as well as assists per game. Now, he's never really been the prototypical classic pass-first point guard, but I think that you've seen him play that role in flashes, and because he's playing next to Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown, he could take over that role pretty effectively. What I'm concerned about is Marcus Smart being a less than 40% shooter, not from three-point range, but from the field. And I think what this indicates, where I'm leaning right now, is that Dennis Schroder is going to come off the bench. And I actually really like that for Boston. Not only is the contract team friendly, because Schroder just a total stiff for turning down 4 years, $84 million from the Los Angeles Lakers, but for the Celtics to get him at 5.9 on a short-term contract for only 1 year and put him in a position where he was the most successful 2 years ago, finishing runner-up in the NBA Sixth Man of the Year race behind Montrezl Harrell, that then puts Schroder into his more natural spot and what I think is the better spot for him coming in off the bench to either play the 1 or the 2. Marcus Smart's impact goes well beyond just the box score, and that's become pretty evident since he came into the league after being a first-round pick out of Oklahoma State. You can look at the numbers all you want, and I can criticize the field goal percentage all I want, but Marcus Smart's leadership, his toughness, that bulldog mentality, what he gives you defensively is one of the best defensive guards across the league, is so valuable, and we know what he brings to this franchise in terms of toughness. And because of that, I like the Celtics defense going into this upcoming season. I like Marcus Smart as a defensive player. Jason Tatum, in my opinion, can be an all-NBA caliber defender. Jalen Brown is already one of the best two-way players across the NBA. And Al Horford, even though he is getting a little longer in the tooth and he's a little bit older, he's lost a step or two, still a very good defensive player who has given guys like Joel Embiid a lot of trouble down low, which is really saying something. So should Smart start? Before you get your votes in, say that 5 times fast for me in the comment section. Type S for Smart, type B for bench. Let me know if you think Marcus Smart should start this year as the point guard on this roster. Sticking with Marcus Smart, Stephen A. Smith had some interesting things to say about that contract extension that Smart agreed to the Celtics with, saying this: "There's no way that Marcus Smart should be getting less than $20 million a year. That's right, I said it. Ain't no way a player with Marcus Smart's ability should get this kind of contract." I actually really disagree with Stephen A. Smith. This was, first, the biggest deal that Smart could have gotten coming off the contract that he had signed previously. Stephen A. did mention that during his segment. But Marcus Smart couldn't have gotten a contract that was larger than the $77 million that he got from Boston. But I also disagree with Stephen A. from this point of view. Marcus Smart is a good player. He's not a great player. And anytime a player is getting paid $20+ million, I think you should be in that great category. And for a guard to shoot less than 40% from the deck, just simply not good enough. I do think that Schroder and Smart, in terms of what you're paying both of those guys, very smart, fiscally responsible deals for Brad Stevens in his first offseason as general manager. And Stevens hasn't made any big splash signings in free agency, but I think some of the moves have been calculated. And also, you're in a good spot with this team when you have a top 10 borderline player in Jason Tatum and one of the best all-around guys in Jalen Brown. Where do you think the Celtics are going to finish in the Eastern Conference this upcoming season? That's the question that I'm posing for you right now. And once you get into the comment section, say 1 seed, 2 seed, 8 seed, whatever you come up with, get those votes in the comment section down below. Marcus Smart is going to be with this franchise for the next several seasons, and it's probably Celtics fans' hope that Jason Tatum is going to be within this franchise for the rest of his career. And you can get Jason Tatum jerseys on sale right now for $75 thanks to our friends at Fanatics. All you got to do, chatsports.com/Tatum. You can get the green Celtics jersey, white Tatum jersey, the black one, all three of those options on sale right now. $75, chatsports.com/Tatum on Fanatics right now. That link is going to be in the description as well as the comment section of this video. You get free shipping on that as well. Let's pivot to Payton Pritchard now. What he did in the NBA Summer League in 3 games was really impressive because I wanted to see him start to take that next step from what was a promising rookie year and build on that freshman campaign in the NBA. And he certainly did that in 3 games in Las Vegas. Averaged a tick under 17 points per game, 8.5 dimes per night, rebounded the ball well too, shot really well from distance and from the field. And he was getting some rave reviews from a lot of NBA scouts, a lot of NBA experts across the league. Nationally, he was named as one of the more standout players in the Las Vegas Summer League. And here's what ESPN had to say about Payton Pritchard because he named them on their Summer League All-Star list. Although not quite as dominant as some of the other second-year point guards in Las Vegas, like Tyrese Maxey and Emmanuel Quickley, Pritchard stood out with his efficiency. He made a remarkable 15 of his 26 three-point attempts. That's 58% for you, while handing out 26 dimes with just over 4 turnovers. The top assist-to-turnover ratio for players with more than 75 minutes of action. ESPN continued by saying this: absent Pritchard, Boston has rolled along undefeated with another candidate for this list in fellow 2020 first-round pick Aaron Nesmith, who has averaged 18.8 points per game while shooting 52% from the field and 39% on threes. That's really good news for the Celtics to get a little bit something out of Aaron Nesmith because they want more production for him in year 2. And in year 2, I think Pritchard's going to be able to provide that for Boston. He flashed a lot last year as a guy who could come in off the bench, play on ball, off ball as the primary creator, as the point guard. But if you need to put him off the ball, he can find success there too. I think coming off the bench, Pritchard's going to be able to be a solid player for the Celtics in 2021-2022. Sam Vecenie of The Athletic admitted when talking about some of these Summer League standouts that he was totally wrong on Pritchard in the pre-draft process going into the 2020 NBA draft when Pritchard was a second-round pick. He said this: honestly, ranking Pritchard as number 37 on my 2020 NBA draft board is one of the dumber things that I've done logically in a while. Pritchard was the most effective player I saw at Summer League this year, which shouldn't come as a total surprise given that he's coming off a season where he deservedly earned votes for all-rookie team. Pritchard's handle has taken another step forward. There's another level of suddenness off the bounce. He uses this deceleration, then explodes into each move. On top of that, he can creatively string together multiple change of direction moves at full speed now while maintaining total control. I like Pritchard as a backup, and I think the Celtics are in a pretty good spot at that position going into training camp, which is really only a few weeks away. If it is true, according to Shams, that Marcus Smart is your starting point guard, he can play on ball, off ball, so too can Pritchard. If Pritchard is your backup, he's almost like a better TJ McConnell, or as Harrison Graham said, what Aaron Kraft would have been if he was actually a good pro, because Pritchard has a little bit more bounce, a little bit more ability. He's a more dynamic playmaker. And then you have Schroder, too, who can spell some minutes there at the point guard spot as well. So grade Pritchard as a player after NBA Summer League, considering what he did in Las Vegas, where he put up monster numbers across the board. A, B, C, D, or F. Get your grades in for Pritchard. I'm going like B-, but certainly he is trending upward. Celtics fans, before we get out of here, this is your one-stop shop for all of your Celtics coverage right here on YouTube. Every move that the Celtics have made this offseason, I'm not even kidding. We've had a video out within an hour or two. So hit that red subscribe button down below or go to youtube.com/CelticsTV. And if you have a question about your Celtics or you want to share some fire hot take, you can do so. Slide in my DMs. Give me a follow at Chase_Senior on Twitter.